Okay guys, in this video I want to show you the ultimate roadmap for a project. Okay, so I'm gonna debunk all the mysteries. I'm gonna show you everything I know about creating a project that will absolutely guarantee you a developer job. So this is a framework that I created a few days ago actually, but it took me probably 2 or 3 years going through this process, I guess, that allowed me to create this framework that I have used for my students, for my clients, and I help them get developer jobs. And I'm 100% sure that if you search the whole internet, you will not find something like this, because so by the end of this video, you will know exactly how to approach creating your kick-ass developer portfolio, okay? And that's gonna guarantee you a job. I can guarantee you that, okay? So please stay with me until the end because I'm gonna spill all the beans, okay? So the project roadmap, ultimate guide. So the problem is that there is no clear roadmap for beginners when it comes to learning code. Everyone says just do a project, but you don't even know how to code, okay? Yet you are supposed to make something. It's all very confusing and you feel lost. Maybe you thought about this in the past, and it's a valid concern, which is and this is what I'm gonna help you out with in this video. Okay, but first of all, why do you need a portfolio? Well, you need a portfolio for two things. One is proof that you know how to do the thing that you are saying, okay? Because if you can say all day that you know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, and whatnot, but if you do not have proof that you know how to do the thing, then nobody is gonna care about you, right? Because everyone can say they're a martial artist, but when it comes to actually fighting someone, they will actually leave, run away, whatever. They will be embarrassed, right? So first of all, proof. And then the second reason is learning and sharpening up your skills. Your projects should be that playground where you learn new things. You learn a new concept, you go and apply it straight away to your project. What most people do is they just learn a bunch of stuff forever and they never apply it, hence they never understand it, hence they don't have experience, hence that's why they are jobless, okay? So, most people think that they need a website, okay, to put their projects, that's their portfolio. In reality, your portfolio, it's one single app that is extremely complex, okay? And it's an app that looks like someone paid you to make that, okay? It looks like a real product that someone can use it, okay, efficiently from day one. Now, before you get into actually building that portfolio app, you need certain skills. You need a certain level of skills. Otherwise, you'll be like, okay, what do I do now? Okay, so you need to know in the JavaScript world, you need to know data structures. Okay, you need to know arrays, and I put here a few things that you should be looking out for, that you should be learning right now. Map, filter, reduce, find, for each. These are extremely important. If you are not capable and comfortable with these methods, you can forget about creating your portfolio. You can forget about getting a developer job, like 100%. If you get a job without knowing these things, you will either have a shitty job and you won't be making much money, and two, you will be struggling a lot during your job, okay? So I'm just laying out for you what you need to know before you get into your portfolio. And you need to know how to work with objects. You need to know this keyword, you need to know dot keys, you need to know dot values, dot entries, and you need to know bracket notation. These are super important concepts that you need to know when it comes to working with objects. It's extremely important. Whenever I say extremely, I'm not taking the piss. I'm actually extremely serious, right? Like right now. Anyway, you need to know API calls. You need to know function callbacks, React, style components, routing, and Redux. This is the foundation that you need to set up right now if you want to become a front-end developer this year, next year, 5 years from now. This is the foundation. So, if this is the foundation, well, you need some small starter projects to start with, yeah? If you are new and you only know some HTML and CSS, maybe you've done some free code camp or some Odin project or some Udemy course or some YouTube videos, go ahead and copy the landing page from the Apple website. Then once you've done that, go ahead and copy the Nike website, okay? The Nike landing page. You can do that. If you know the basics of HTML and CSS and Flexbox, you can go ahead and do that. If you already started learning JavaScript and you want to start building up your skills there, then you need to do the To-Do app. Okay, I'm going to show you an example of that right here. This is a To-Do app that my student made. So I'm going to type in hi, boom, toggle it, and now delete it. To-Do app, extremely basic. You can also throw in a calculator in there, and now you saw my slides. Then after that, after you understand how to work with JavaScript, with events, with things of that nature, using your arrays, your objects, then you go on and you start learning React. And you build something like this, a To-Do app with React. So if I add here some stuff like JavaScript, React, and whatnot, you have to learn how to make a To-Do app with React. Very simple app. You can filter out things. Okay, you learn how to work with state. Very basic stuff, but you have to do it before you do anything else. Then, once you're done with that, you have to create this GitHub profile battle, and you need to learn how to work with API calls. Okay, so for example, I'm going to look for Mozilla, and I'm going to look for Meta, and I'm going to look for Facebook. So as you can see, here we are finding out which one is the winner, who has the most or who has the biggest score out of all these GitHub profiles. This is going to teach you how to use map, how to use reduce, how to use state, how to use props, all that good stuff that comes with React. I'm not going to teach you React in this video, but I'm showing you the apps that you should be making, okay, if you want to get the skills. And then lastly, we have the weather app. It doesn't work for my location because my computer is a bit messed up, so you cannot see my location. But if I type in here, Prague, and then I have London as well. We have London, Prague, and whatever. This is going to teach you API calls, routing, and again, React and style components. So as you can see over here, I'm explaining you how that works. So To-Do app with React, GitHub battle, and the weather app, okay? These are your prerequisites if you want to build up your portfolio. And what's funny here is that if you go to a bootcamp and you pay like 20K, this is gonna be your portfolio. But my students build these things just to learn, while others pay 20K to make this stuff. And that's their final project. You take what you want from there. Anyway, so let's go to the next slide. As mentioned before, these apps are for learning, okay? So what is a project? A project has a big idea, okay? Behind every application, there is a big idea. Think about Airbnb, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google Docs, anything that you're using, Twitter. There is always a big idea behind it. And then there are filler features that make the usage of that application more interactive, easier for the user, more interesting for the user, okay? And we'll talk about that in a second. You do not need to reinvent the wheel. You do not need to create the next Airbnb. You can pretty much copy Airbnb from scratch, right? You can copy Twitter from scratch. Not the entire thing, but like parts of it. You just have to look at one app that you use daily and start deconstructing it piece by piece. If you are a massive Twitter follower or user, use Twitter as your base. If you are massive on YouTube, use YouTube as your base. Super important stuff. So once you have this big idea, which should be summarized in a sentence, you can build this MVP in a matter of days. I've mentioned this in a live stream, but I had an idea once for an application that I wanted to use to make my life as a freelancer easier. So it took me 5 minutes to come up with the MVP of that application. So then after that, I started working on the application for like a month or so to add filler features, which I'm going to talk about in a second. Now, the next important point is stacking features versus stacking tech. What does that mean? Imagine you have a barbell. What most people do is they try to learn as much tech as possible. So React, Redux, React Query, style components, Node.js, MongoDB, SQL, Redis, Docker, Kubernetes, Python, C++, Java, Firebase. They try to learn every single possible technology that is out there instead of creating features with the least amount of technologies that they have available. If you create a bunch of features with one specific technology, let's say just with React, you'll actually learn how React works because you have been practicing React for so long, and you get experience. And if you get experience, what do you get? Money, all right? So on one side we have tech, and then on the other side we have skills. But the amount of tech is disproportionate with the amount of skills that we want to get, or the amount of features that we want to create in our application. So if you have, let's say, React, Redux, React Router, and style components, you have 4 pieces of tech. But on the other side, in your portfolio, you have an application that has like 30, 40, 50 features. That's a good balance for this barbell, okay? That is a good balance. If you have 10 technologies but 2 features in your application, your project is going to look like a toy and nobody is going to consider you. This is what you need to understand. This is the magic trick that nobody ever told you before, or they tried to tell it to you, but they didn't know how to explain it. And in this video, I'm doing just that. So pay attention. So now we have main features, right? Let's take an application like CoinMarketCap. So we have main features. Let me go to the next slide. Like get all coins, the coin page, and top coin or whatever, right? So if we go here, we can see that this is the main feature of this application, getting all the coins. And then we have one individual coin page. And then here we have like the most important coins. There is another list with coins. Make sense? I hope it does. If it does, smash the like button. But then what makes an application are the filler features. For example, these filters over here, these filters over here, this customization, this changing the type of view for your data. This stuff, or like the theme, the currency, the language, the search. What else can we see here? If we go to the coin page, let's see. If I go to Dogecoin, I have this chart. This is a filler feature. The same with this chat over here. This is another filler feature. The same with this, another filler feature. So an application, the problem with most people is that they focus on creating one main feature and then they give up on adding the filler features. But the filler features are the details that are making your project or the product that you are building. Okay, it's not just a project, it's a product. They are making that product interesting, useful. They give you experience, they give you exposure to different things. Because if you just lay out, like for example, I always show this guy because it's like it's another guy that paid thousands of dollars to go to a boot camp, and he made this, right? This application. This is just the main feature, which is show all coins. But as you can see, without the filler features, this application looks like trash, terrible. Nobody is going to take him in consideration. And I actually know he's still in debt, he still doesn't have a job, and he's still working with his back because he's missing out on this information that I'm giving you for free, that nobody else is gonna give you this information, okay? So, going back to our presentation, how do you come up with those features, the filler features? You have to ask, what else? What else can I do here? Okay, what else can I add? How can I make this more valuable? That's where you need to put your thinking hat on and start figuring things out. You cannot expect people to give stuff to you like that. Do this, do this, do this. Especially if you are by yourself. If you are working with me, I'm going to do this for you. But if you are by yourself, that's what you have to do. You have to ask yourself, what else? If you want to create an application at some point in your life, you'll come up with an MVP in like 2 hours, 3 hours maximum. But then to make that product appealing to people so people can actually buy it and use it, you have to add all these filler features. So you need to think about it. And you have to ask, what else? What else can I add to this? How can I make this more valuable? So what you need to do is you have to create a Trello board and start filling it with features, okay? The first 10 will come extremely easy to you. But force yourself to come up with at least 30 more features. This is gonna be a very difficult exercise. It's gonna take you 5 minutes to come up with 10 features that you can create, but then the rest of them will come slower and slower and slower. And that's okay. You are paid to think, okay? You are paid to think, so you have to put your mind to work. So this is how a Trello board looks like. So you have a backlog, you have in progress, and then you have done. Obviously, if you've done this task here, you move it from backlog to in progress, and then you move it to done or whatever, and so on and so forth. Then also, you need to create a document with the requirements for your app. That's how professionals work. And you'll be thinking, oh, but I'm not a professional. That's why you're not getting hired, bro. That's why you're not getting hired, because you don't work like a professional. You want to be a professional, or do you want to be a Udemy developer? If you want to be a Udemy developer, keep doing the Udemy stuff. But I'm telling you, you have to pre-plan everything. For example, when I work with my students, I have this document that's like 10 pages, if I'm not mistaken, that has every single detail of this app described there. So they have to actually go ahead and do it. They also have a Trello board with all the tasks in there that they have to do, right? And the last thing is to make it pretty. Again, you're not a designer, nor do I, but if you're gonna make an application that looks like it's been made in 2002, nobody's gonna care about you. If your design looks like shit, you're a front-end developer, your job is to make things pretty. We are in 2022, people are expecting that from you. Will you be using an app that looks like a scam? No. Will you be using an app that looks like it's been made in 2002? No. So then, what you need to do, you need to pay a designer to design the app that you just created, right? Again, I'm doing this for my students. They have designs for everything. They have mobile versions as well. They have all that stuff done for them, so they don't have to think about it. But if you are by yourself, the number one tip is to find a designer. It's going to cost you maybe roughly $500 to $1,000 to get a proper design, but that's going to pay off dividends. If you're saying $1,000 is too much, then for how long do you want to be unemployed? You know, it's up to you. But this is the magic trick. I didn't say it's going to be cheap, but I'm saying it's going to work and it's going to make a massive difference in your life if you just listen to me and do this. So, recap, stack features, ask yourself what else, make it pretty, and then also commit to making this application work for 6 months at least. Not 1 week, not 2 weeks, 6 months. 6 months of hard work and dedication you have to put into this application to make it work. So, if you need help implementing all of this, you have to get into the mentorship program. You'll be working with me directly. If you want to do that, the link is in the description. You'll get a full roadmap from the very beginning all the way to implementing all these ideas that I've discussed in this video. Support, feedback, live calls, code reviews, all that stuff. Help until you get paid. It doesn't matter if it's going to take you 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year. I'm going to help you until you get paid. And if you're unhappy with the mentorship, you get a full refund and you stay in the program until you get hired. So there is literally no risk for you. You just have to do what I'm telling you to do And if you do it and you have to show me proof that you've done it and you don't understand it or something doesn't work, if you still cannot make any progress, I'm gonna give you all your money back and I'm still going to help you until you get hired. Why am I doing this? Because I know I have literally the best program out there that's gonna help you get that first developer job. I know that my program is so good that I'm willing to bet my livelihood on it. So I literally removed all the risk for you. You just need to make a choice. You're gonna take the blue pill and keep watching YouTube videos, or you're gonna start implementing this. I cannot do more for you than these YouTube videos, and this YouTube video, in my opinion, it's extremely different than anything that's out there. If you manage to implement this by yourself, you'll be like flying around people, but if you do it with me, you'll be a total savage really quick. Anyway, I hope you like this video. Again, if you want to be part of the mentorship program, apply for a free consultation code. The link is in the description. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.